Hello, how you guys doing? James here. I hope you're doing well, doing fine. I'm doing great. Just sitting out chilling on this good day. I want to show you a video. This session with black people. Why is it that these individuals have us? But before I get to that video, I'm going to show you that even when something that these people with the ideal mind and an ideology try to come together, they can't compute.
At Fiber, we're experts in small business insurance. We think through every risk factor for your industry, crunch the numbers with our nerdy math.
Throughout history, when black Americans tried to start their own community, their own economy and stuff like that, it got burnt down. Their towns got burnt down to smithereens. How the hell in 2025 are we allowing in the Ozark and Arkansas for them to build a whites-only community? I can't believe it, man. It's just unreal to me. Like, I'm having trouble. And it's just not black Americans that can't live there. It's everybody. If you're non-white, if you don't have European ancestry, you are not allowed there. And he's planning on expanding. This is turning the clock back in history. The discrimination, the hate. This is absolutely unreal. And people are going to just let it happen. That's the way I see it. With that being said, guys, make sure you like this video, comment, let me know what you guys think, and as always, follow me.
Get a puffy line, dog.
Did Missouri just travel back to the 1950s? Well, this is Trump's America, so probably. According to new reports, a whites-only community could be coming to Missouri, with one already established in Arkansas. A man by the name of John Wesley Norton is trying to build what he calls a conservative, Christian, whites-only community outside of Springfield, Missouri. He says this community is for like-minded people. Let's be real, that means racists and segregation. This is in no way about values, this is about exclusion. It's about resurrecting white supremacy under the guise of freedom of association. And Missouri officials, they're silent, as you'd expect. They say nothing illegal is going on and it's private land. Since when did racism need a permit? If you're more upset about people protesting over the human rights violations of immigrants right now than you are about the resurrection of Jim Crow, then you're the problem. This isn't just a Missouri issue, this is a warning. Racism is alive and well, and it's buying land and building fences.
So, the white-only town in Arkansas has now failed. Yeah, because don't y'all know y'all built everything off the back? It's your boy Youngstar 63 Fat Jared the DJ. I need you to like, comment, follow, share, and get into this because I'm just really confused. Who did y'all think was going to do the work? Y'all don't be doing shit. Yes, you remember that big story back in Benton last year when they had a whole whites-only town that was being promoted for white people to come use as a utopia in Arkansas? Yeah, failed. Failed. They're doing bad. They're going broke. Not doing well socially. They're failing. I just don't know what they expected to happen because y'all literally didn't build this one. So what do you think you was going to build one over there? I'm actually kind of shocked though because if y'all knew how to colonize before, y'all are descendants of colonizers. Y'all should be very, very profound at colonizing. Y'all don't be talking generation to generation. See, they didn't pass down their knowledge about how to do what y'all do. But see, they did for us. See, we come from the descendants of oppressed people, and what we do know how to do is fight back. So I don't know why y'all don't know how to colonize. I thought this would just be a 1, 2, 3 for y'all. Like just set everything all up. You know, grocery stores with no seasoning aisles, Starbucks everywhere, no 2K or Madden tournaments, FIFA, Grand Theft Auto, and Fortnite only. Like I thought y'all would just be happy in the wind over there. But apparently y'all are failing. And good for your asses. How y'all feel about it?
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.
If you live in an Ohio zip code,
This is the beginning of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, what is with the obsession with black people? That these people, these individuals that keep coming, trying to even bring other black people that be in agreement with their way of life, I just don't get it.
Hey family, this is your brother brother Dana, and I'm coming to you from that place in one love. Give me an opportunity here just to share my thoughts. My thoughts on President Donald Trump wanting to take the military into our inner city black communities as if they want to restore order. This is my problem. Because see, you, my white, evangelical, conservative, Republican, Christian, Trump-loving family members confuse me. Because see, do you remember when you wanted our black family to be separate? When we had the white-only and the black-only drinking fountains? And we still do have the red line to keep blacks out of certain communities. So they obeyed your orders and they built their own cities like Black Wall Street. They built their own prosperous communities. But the confusion for me comes in that when they separated themselves from us, you still went in to destroy every single city and community that our black families were living in. And I believe like Black Wall Street, you went in and you bombed that city and literally burnt it to the ground in just a few days because the prosperity of that black city against all the odds of white supremacy and white racism and prejudice and privilege was still prospering economically beyond your own white cities. So you went into these black communities and these black cities and you literally destroyed them, or you planted drugs, you planted the weapons, and you then put that systematic racism to destroy it or to turn it into what we know today as a black ghetto. And now you want me to believe that you have good intentions to go back and to restore? No. See, this is why you want to go back into these black inner city communities. See, as you get rid of all these illegal aliens that are out on these plantation fields doing the harvesting and the work that you, my white family, are too good to do, somebody's going to need to replace them to fill their spots. And I believe that Trump is looking to replace these illegal aliens with you, my black family. See, right now, you are, my black family, are sitting in these correctional systems as the modern day cotton. These correctional systems are bringing in millions and millions of dollars to the white man. But now, instead of having you be the cotton, we're going to need you to go back out into the fields to harvest the cotton. Because I will say it again, the white man, every time he went into our black communities or cities, had no intention of doing anything except for one thing: to destroy you, or to set up a system that will contain you. And so, white, evangelical, conservative, Republican, Christian, Trump-loving family members, our inner city black communities don't need you. In fact, what they just need you to do is leave them alone. Let them, my black family, take care of themselves, because they did fine in all these cities and communities. Look it up. All these hundreds and hundreds of cities and communities that were prospering by themselves when you left them alone. But oh no, you can never let the black man alone. So that you went in and you destroyed. So hey family, this is your brother Dana, and I'm coming to you from that place.
So that's coming from a white man that worked, left his story was he left Minnesota to come work in inner city among black youth, and what he saw the injustices in Chicago. So his story was he asked the Lord, why are the black people getting persecuted, and the Lord revealed who they really are. So let him tell you his story, why he came and how people thought it was strange for him to do that. Something was wrong, even though that in his first encounter wasn't nice, but he didn't hold on to grudge because against black men, he had to understand what the cause was it. But some people, white people like that, they at least he had an understanding because it opened up his eyes. And then when he tried to go back and tell his family and certain people, they thought he was strange to go live in the inner city of Chicago among black people. But at least he had the balls enough to try to understand.
Do not pay your next car insurance bill. Repeat, do not pay your bill yet. So I found this web.
Good evening, everybody. Machiavelli Mills TV. I hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. So a little early this morning, very early this morning, I went live to discuss Steven Crowder, a right-wing talking pundit and a right-wing media or political personality who went into a black barbershop. And he went into a black barbershop with the purpose of defending the anti-black ideology of black fatigue, right? He went into this black barbershop to discuss this whole ideology and this whole black fatigue mindset with black barbers and black patrons of the barbershop. And basically, for those who don't know what black fatigue is, a term that's actually been bastardized by right-wing white supremacists. Their version of black fatigue is this notion that white people are tired of being victimized by black people. They're tired of being victimized, and they don't like the fact that if they call out the fact that they're victimized by black folks, they get called racist. It's this whole notion that a lot of white people want to move away from black people because they're tired of being around hoodlums, aggressive hoodlums who could cause harm to them or harm to their family, so on and so forth. And a lot of black people who are just inherently more criminal than everybody else. And they want to get away from these type of black people because it's so exhausting to be around these individuals. It's so exhausting to have to deal with them and speak with black people most of the time, etc., so on and so forth, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's really what their whole premise is. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, because I don't know everything, but that is my interpretation of what this whole notion of black fatigue is that a lot of the right wingers are pushing, right? So he goes in a barbershop and he starts talking about trying to explain black fatigue and trying to justify this whole anti-black thing to these black folks, right? And what really is interesting to me is that, first of all, let me get to it. My thoughts are all over the place. But when Steven Crowder sits down, he starts talking about how white people are 12 times as likely to be unalived by a black person than the other way around, right? And one of the black brothers, he asks a great question. He says, where are white people 12 times as likely to be unalived by a black person than the other way around? And Steven Crowder says, all over America, all across the country, etc., right? And let me just say this. First of all, Steven Crowder is very anti-black, 100%. You can see it with the things that he said over the years. And I hate the idea that a lot of these people who are extremely racist try to mask their racism behind intellectualism. They try to do all these different they try to explain their way around racism and try to be intellectual about being racist, right? And try to use statistics about how racist they are, so on and so forth. And they use a lot of skewed statistics, so on and so forth, right? But anyway, when he says that, a white person is 12 times as likely to be unalived by a black person than the other way around, I thought about my hometown of Chicago, Illinois. And everybody uses my hometown as a buzzword or a way to denigrate black folks. What about Chicago? What about Chicago? We saw that as soon as Barack Obama became president of the United States of America, and when they knew that Barack Obama was claiming Chicago as his hometown, it was like, hey, we got to talk about Chicago and all the violence that's occurring there. But let's use Chicago as an example. I always tell y'all this all the time. I'm born and raised on the south side of Chicago. Chicago is one of the most segregated cities in the United States of America. White people do not live amongst black folks. Really, it's rare for black people and Hispanic people to live amongst each other. It's rare. It's only in certain communities. Marquette Park and a few others. It's very rare. In Chicago, black folks live with black people. Hispanics live with Hispanics. White people live with white people. Arabs live with Arabs. Asians live with Asians, etc. Right? So this whole thing that black people are going to unalive white people all at high race and all of that. We don't even live amongst white folks like that, really. And it's rare for people to commit crimes against people they don't live in proximity to. Most of the time, people commit crimes amongst people who they live in proximity to. So it's extremely rare for people in Chicago on the south side to travel way up north to commit crimes. You know, and crime happens in places where poverty is rampant. You know, and poverty is rampant in a lot of areas on the south side of Chicago and the west side of Chicago. So let's just get that out the way. Like, it's just not black folks and just running around trying to look for white folks to just victimize and just take advantage of, and none of that. It's, again, people commit crimes amongst people who they live in proximity to.
Exactly.
And let me just say this. Let me say this too, because he made this whole point about, you know, white Americans being afraid to travel to different parts or different towns, different areas of town, going to different areas, so on and so forth. And yeah, are there some white folks who are afraid? Yeah, but a lot of them are not. And I see that with how a lot of the white tourists come into Chicago and they go all into O Block, aka Parkway Gardens, on a regular basis. Not just going to where the mural of King Von is. They go inside of the O. They go inside of Parkway, walking all around during tours.
I believe that.
A lot of white YouTubers, they go and record all through Parkway. Going and trying to do interviews over there. I mean, getting tours, and they leave with all their jewelry. They leave with all of their money. They leave with their cameras intact and all of that. So they can't be that scared if they go on all, like these tourists from out of town have heard about, you know, the crime that occurs in Parkway, and, you know, how, you know, it's a gang banging area where it's gang activity in that area. It's a black disciple area, and they go running over there. They go take pictures and go do vlogs and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be that afraid of black folks like that. They can't be afraid of being victimized that much. Where they're going into areas, you know, that they've heard is violent or whatever, and they going over there and coming out unscathed. They're coming out unscathed. Let me just say this too. In Chicago, man, white folks come all over here through the hoods. Ain't nothing finna happen to them. Majority of the time, black folks ain't worried about, oh, let's go take advantage of this white person. We just shocked that they over here in the neighborhoods for real. We just shocked to see them in the areas because they don't really be over here like that. You know what I mean? A lot of them don't really come over here, and, you know, they don't live over here, so we be just shocked that they over here. But ain't nobody trying to go over and really do nothing to them and take advantage of them and rob.
If you live in an Ohio zip code,
and that's the truth. And that's in all cities that they do that. That's a bunch of crap. And because I've seen white YouTubers go into some, and it's a well-known, they got like 1 million subscribers, go into some areas of the city, not just Chicago, but into some cities. The ones that, I forgot the one guy's name that come to my mind. But he goes in and interviews the gangs, all these street gangs and stuff like that. Nobody don't bother. I mean, in the interview, when they sit down and talk to them, ask them what is it like and things like that. So these Steven Crowders, they don't even come around black people. And my thing is, now you see in the first video, now even when they have their own town, they can't seem to come together.
And today we're reacting to the rise of racist content creators. Bro showed us a video with the fresh and fit when it was disgusting. It was nasty. They talk about it as they're doing us dirt, man. Let's get into it, bro. Let's get a little serious. Like, I appreciate y'all great for that.
2025 is one of the most lucrative and sought-after career fields, and I can see why. You could be a gamer, a lifestyle influencer,
A racist nigga.
streamer, or better yet, a white supremacist Instagrammer.
Look at how easy that was. Picking cotton did not build America, and if we knew how annoying you guys were going to be, we would have just used Irish slaves.
I was debating making this video because on one hand, I was like, should I really give these people my attention? But on the other hand, I think it's important that we shine
Shine the light, but we're not gonna take them serious, Antonio, bro. We finna laugh at those niggas. Cause they think this this hurts me. Like, you think that I saw that and got upset? And I just want to hope and tell people to not get upset by that. Don't get offended by that, bro. It's like people being racist, they been making these jokes. It's just on the internet now, people seeing it. Certain people got a platform now. That don't hurt me, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's your life, that's how you want to live it, okay. But we know in certain places, in certain situations, unless he's highly protected with a bunch of niggas around him and he's far away, he would not come up to you in a one-on-one setting while I'm walking on the street. You feel me? And where nobody could save him or help him, he wouldn't say these things. He's not standing on that. We gotta remember that.
spotlight on this type of ideology. One of the main reasons the mustache man back in Germany was so successful was because people caught on when it was too late. Now these dudes are nowhere.
Car insurance for $19 a month? It's real and it's stupidly easy. Here's how. You've got 2 minutes, right?
I'm going to let me make this video short. So, but what is with the obsession with black people? What is, there are, and I said this in the video before, there are other races of people. Why did these people do this? Why do they have to keep coming at black people? I mean, in the video, he's going to probably show how this guy asked some dumbass questions to these white females, and really stupid questions. They young and even they think they're corny. White dudes that do stuff like this, they're corny. And I was thinking about this today. If the Lord Jesus Christ and all his heavenly beings took every black person and put them in paradise on the other side of the planet, these folks would try to find a way and gated it off and say that, okay, we're gonna rehabilitate them, we keep them far out of your reach. So now what you got to say? They will find a way, honest to God, to come over to see what the black people are doing. They will find a navigation. They will fly a drone. They will fly a plane. They'll get Elon Musk to go and say, we got to go see what these folks are doing. It's like, and you figure some common sense. Well, we got rid of them. What is the problem? They're not in their own mind criminalizing us. They're not taking it. They're not complaining that we call them racist. What is the obsession with it? Why are you so obsessed? People like this is so obsessed with making fun of black people. They make fun of other people, which is just as wrong. But they really come at black people, and I've seen other people kind of individuals make a dip and stab at black people. It's like, you don't have to come around people if they make you feel uncomfortable and at ease. And trust me, most black people, they sense that you're like that. Most of them have common sense not to come around you, because we pick that up, and we just say, hey, you do you be. The only reason why some black people make these videos and have to counteract this stuff, because they keep pressing the narrative. But the history showed that the time, and like the white guy Dana said, you have everything black people have built. You have come along. These individuals, like not all white people, but the ones that think like this, have come along and destroyed, get some president, mayor, judicial system to try to justify their things on black people. This is historically. And when black people did not start the war, did not start the race war, did not start the fight, but they only had to respond because they kept on getting traumatized. And when you have a law, government coming at you, and citizens coming at, what you going to do? I don't understand the obsession with this. If I don't like a group of people, and I was using this as an example, if it's, let's say if you don't agree with the LGBTQ community, and you just kept obsessing with the LGBTQ community, okay, you don't agree with their lifestyle. That's one thing. Okay, I may not agree with their lifestyle because of spiritual reasons, but at the end of the day, they're grown people. They're gonna keep doing being LGBTQ to Jesus come back here. That's just the reality of the situation. You know what I'm saying? What they do and how a grown person choose to live a life with another person of the same sex. I'm just using that example. That's their business. As long as it don't, like some people, as long as it don't affect me, I don't care. You know, and they cool and they could be in their own part of the world. But if I kept on attacking them and attacking them, like, why are you so? At some point, somebody would question like, man, why you keep attacking the LGBTQ community? You know, okay, you don't have to be around them. Okay, I said, you know, why you keep making videos and some of these people? It's okay. We see that you don't approve of them. We see, and that's just a sexual orientation people. We see that you don't approve of this racist people. Why do you keep obsessing with it? Why do you keep coming to their territories? And you come, let's say you go into it and start picking at them. It's like, why are you going to the LGBTQ community picking up? They're not messing with you. And it's the same, I use this as the same example. So I'm saying that you see how sick and demented, this must be a generational thing, that among these people, some of these people think like the Steven Crowders and all these other people that like Turning Point, that trying to get a response and get reaction, and black people are not giving them the reactions. Like, leave us alone. Leave us alone. Go, there's other nationalities in the United States. What is with the obsession with black people? And I know that's every black person been trying to figure this out. And other people, what's this obsession with you? And I said to Tim, yeah, I'm figuring that too. Most black people, like when it comes to statistic, crime, and all this other stuff, they happen, and like the guy from Chicago said, they happens around it. They don't even go around it. And if a white person come in, unless they in that certain lifestyle, most time they not gonna mess with them. That's a fact. It's gonna be another person that is black. Majority of the crime is gonna be on against another black person who they familiar with. They're ops, as they would say. That's the truth. I mean, unless it's somebody that's sick and demented, or just an opportunity. But most black people do not, in these days, very seldom harm white people. They're not at the stats, so they're throwing out these stats unless they're in an environment. If they in that environment, but most of the time, they go out there, most white people go to the suburbs, and then when they come into the city, they jack up the prices like they do in all cities throughout America, drive the poor people on the outskirts, just like they do here in there are certain places in Columbus, right, that around the short north, that it was basically it was an area that was working the college and low class. When they redid the short north here, they built up buildings and all that stuff and jacking up the rent and jacking up, making a special tax code. So they know that most people are poor. That's going to push the people who can't afford it on the outskirts. So they go way on the outskirts of the town. This is what they do. This is no matter if it's a Democrat or Republican, whoever is in office. This is fact. This is not just Columbus, but this is in every city. They come in, they take a territory, they police it, and they jack up the taxes. Now do some people come down, and every once in a while, and they catch the people who come in, and they catch the people who choose to do wrong? Yes, but it's an issue. But most of the people who have the issue stay in, for example, the Linden area. It's issues around there. It might be on the Lower West Side, and it's because the poverty area. But even if but some of the people, even when you go like west of Columbia, you can tell because that there's a difference going down Broad Street just alone. And so as you get further and going to certain neighborhoods on the west side, like you do the east side of Columbus, and north and south, you have a certain areas where there's crime, and it's a lot of homeless people and everything. But and then you might have a lot of people have mental problems, and then you have some people that from all walks of life that have drug problems, and it might be some other stuff going on. But most people, majority of people, and if they attack people based on classification, unless they live in that environment, they don't attack them. But these white people that make these accusations don't even live around black people. So and they wouldn't want to come down there. And if they did, then it's the same way Chicago, it's the same way Columbus. They're not gonna mess with the white people. They don't. Some white black people are kind of scared. They think that they 5-0. And when any kind of law enforcement, especially if they're doing some dirt, they're gonna get up and jet. That's the truth. If they're in some kind of gang, they're gonna kind of simmer down. And and then once that they leave and they go back out, it turns right back up again. This is not just in this city or that city, but it's in every city. And it's like, what? So really, the victims of crime is the people that look like myself, and the ones that perpetrated look like myself. Now, there are some white people get caught in between because they're part of the class and status. It's because they live down, they ain't got no place to go. But some majority of white people, you never see a white person. Let's say here in Columbus, come from Upper Arlington or New Albany and come down on Parsons. You know, I mean, it would, unless they own something down there, they ain't got no business down here. It's the same way up in Cleveland, same situation. So where are these people coming from with that? Unless you go around with that, and they police the doggone communities, so they don't get to them suburbs. That's why some of the police officers, some are very aggressive in Columbus. They're very aggressive, you know, about that. And even in like a place like Toledo and other inner cities. So what's up with that? Another thing is, and I remember this is going back when I was in school. You have this thing about they worry about the depopulation because there are some females who are white. Not all. They don't have sense enough to put 2 nickels in the quarter again. Most white females don't go to other dudes. Most white females stick to their own. Like black people stick to their own, Hispanic people stick to their own, Asian people stick to their own, Arab stick to their own. Most people, and these white people are obsessed. They see a black guy with a white woman, and you know, no one say anything if it's a white guy with a black woman. It is what it is. I mean, you know, if they're a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever. What does that bother? What does it? Maybe because that white chick don't find you attractive. It could be the same reason why that black woman don't find a black man attractive. It's just a mutual thing. That's what they're attracted to. But you can't stomach in your head that you know that it's a trap. Why is it? What does she got? What it is that these dudes are corny. This is what it is. I've heard some black females say this, and you have some by tendencies because you so obsessed with the phallus and you obsessed with the rear. And it's like you always slapping each other on the butt. So that's the truth. And it's like, why? I mean, even if a white female just makes, yeah, he seems like he's a good, nice guy. What's so nice about him? Well, he's just a nice guy, nice looking guy, whatever. It could be something simple as that. But she's with you. She's not gonna go after the black guy. She's not gonna throw it out her. Most of it's not most. Some white people are not gonna risk all that because it's so many factors with that. It takes a certain type of person to marry outside your race. That's a fact. A lot of people can't do it. I come to the conclusion, and no matter, it can go black people, same way with black people, is white, and any other race or group that's here. Even though you see some people that do, you know why? Because the society, they're not used to seeing something different. Some people don't mind, but some people, but you can't stay in certain areas. It could be like that no matter where you go. If it's not really, unless it's a very integrated, like in certain areas here, nobody really gives a crap. I mean, most people don't give. But if you live on the outskirts of the area in certain parts of it, you might get some. But most people don't give a shit. You don't like it? Oh well. Why don't you be glad that you have? If you're a white male and you got this issue, be happy that you got the white female. She's not gonna go with any other race or dude. Unless you mess it up. She's not gonna have a desire for black dudes. I'm telling you. And if it does, it's a sexual thing. It's not a relationship thing. Like some people do. It might be some, but most of them don't, because they can't handle that ostracize. Some people ostracize them. Yeah, I know about the ostracism and assumes when these other people are not in their presence, that's when they make they release all the inner prejudice and races among their own. And it's back there. Especially if you live in like freaking Iowa or Washington State or someplace up in Maine. It's majority gonna be white up there. Like what is you so upset? And the thing about the white town that made it look so stupid, majority of the counties throughout America are white. 70, I have did videos, it's like 70, 80, 90% majority of the population is white. Now not other than the sexual orientation thing, unless you have a problem with that, that's one thing. But why is it that these people are so obsessed with it when it comes to black people? I mean, you don't hear this indigenous people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Arabic speaking people from the islands. You don't have no obsession with black people. Why is it? And why do you have to come to a campus which you don't think that they should not too highly and intelligently and want to have a debate about crime? Why don't you just, there's a differences, and what makes you, and you act like when people that do that, it kind of reminds me, you're the instigator. You are like a devil. You're like a Satan. You're like a Satan child that gotta feel like you gotta go and start chaos because it ain't to the point. Not because of your color, it's because of your action. You act like a devil. And people that's like the Steven Crowlers and these other ones, and even the late one, it's like, why are you so obsessed when it's not even in your mind? Somebody, if a black or any other person, they compete honestly against you, and you can't handle it. And this when they start, and then they go to Trump, their daddy, and other ones, to start passing these religious laws. And not only they did it here in America, but now it's, they take that same idea of politics and try to spread over the parts of the world. And what it's doing, that the European, like the ones that think like Trump, you only hurting people. Not only that you hurting the people you think you are oppressing the immigrants and the blacks and these other people, but you hurting white people that had nothing to do with it. You hurting white people as far as like everybody else. And yet you're trying to seem like you're trying to be the hero, but you really looking stupid. And if I was a white person and some white person, I saw this, it's like, dude, why are you worried about these group of people? We over here, we're 95% white over here. Our children is white. whatever the inner city crime is over there. Why are you so obsessed? And with these other people, they're not in our proximity of us. And if they come, unless it's a sporting event, something like that, it may be one or two out there, but it's not enough to cause you a physical threat. And most black people that live in areas where it's 95% white, if one or two, they don't have the same mindset of a criminal. So what is it? You're jealous. You're envious. And you're insecure. And this is what they're true. Why you want to come around people you already made up your mind they're intellectually not smarter than you. They're a criminal. They don't take care of their children. You want to drive, and then why we got to go back and debate with you when we know what the truth is? Your mind is made up. You are your father, the devil. You are acting like a devil. So hey, it is what it is. But you claim you're a Christian. But isn't the point that? But where is Christ said? So, in other words, if you keep persecuting your brother, who you can see, how is it that you can't accept the one who you can't see? Because didn't Jesus make the whole human race, the black race, the white, and whatever we classify, I'm using this, the Asians and all these other people, it's here for a reason. It's not here for you to sit there and think that you got to dominate the whole doggone world. And most people of other races, including black people, will leave you the heck alone. If you can't act like you can't be above them, they don't need you coming over there and dictating to them. They don't need you to come up with your opinion. They don't need your idea. It's like the world is shutting you out. You're making it, another race is going that to people, not all white people, but to the white people that got this mindset, they shut you out for a reason. And the only way you can do is if we see how you act violently, even towards among your own people who are white. So you dispelling, and then you saying that you won't let the past go, but we see every day that you turn the gun and the knife on in your own communities. We see it. You're trying to dispel and throw the blame and try to blame another group of people that has no proximity, just like with the Charlie Kirk situation. The young man that shot him was a Republican MAGA. You don't want to talk about that point. And that goes to show you see how delusional they are, ladies and gentlemen? That they can't accept the fact that a young man that looked like them, just like the Las Vegas shooter, went to a country, was firing. A white male was firing down on them in a country, went to the hotel, had magazines, stuff, and start unliving people on the ground. You don't want to address the fact that there's an evil problem, but you're too busy the race problem. And the Lord, the Almighty, showing you it has nothing to do with race. It has to do something to do with deeper. But you will refuse. You are reprobate mind because all you see is color. And then you say that them black people see color. The only reason why some black people are seeing color, because you keep reflecting to that is color. What you think I'm going to respond if I keep attacking Asians or South Asians or Arabs, whatever, and start and just make a deal? You don't think somebody going to respond? I'm going, and I mean that's just common sense. Or any other group of people that God made on the planet, not to be subjugated to them, because I can't handle. And it's the thing about it, some of these white males and some females, you can't handle the reality that the world is changing. That it's been a shift in that people, that the Most High is making, that the other people are able to earn and grow. And you've been trying. And the sad thing about it is, if you oppress in a nation like and oppress people, that what God has brought diverse and divine, you're only going to hurt yourself in the end. And this slick dog, and let me tell you, using a black person as a talking point, let me give you an example. You know that between the Hebrews and the Egyptians, even though that Egypt had a Hebrew was in the class, this so-called thing that he can give him insight, give him some validation, but it didn't stop the plagues, white people. You understand what I'm saying? And the people in general who think like you, it didn't stop the plagues from hitting Egypt, because even though the Hebrews were, at some point, because it was in the Hebrew was cool at one point, but at some point, when it was a Pharaoh that said, "Well, if we do this to we got to keep these Hebrews up under bondage, and so we're gonna have to worship our God. We're gonna have to turn to that as we the gods." White people, listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to you. Some of you need to understand this. Just because then you see some black people that agree with you, the plagues are coming to you. The ones who think like you. Well, it didn't stop the plagues like the Egyptians, because the Hebrews there, and they had an arrogance like some of you. Well, how dare they 3/5 of a human being? And you see what happened, right? You see the story about the 10 Commandments. It didn't stop the plagues from coming. And then when he warned, stop this, they didn't heed to it. Right now, the inner city community, like the rural community, is suffering. And it's people, the majority of people in the rural community look like you, even though some don't have the same income and capacity. But you say, well, that's just them people in the trailer park, the poor white people. But it's an addiction and unaliving is in the white community. I'll show this on my video. Isn't it suicide? But yet you're gonna find out the blame on the race of people, or is it something internal? You can say the same problem is in any community, and you still try to make it everything. What race is dying? And this is what race? Who cares what race is if someone's having a man-made disease or a man-made mental status? Who cares about that stuff? Who cares? Every person gonna die. I mean, it's like they will carry this spirit. I'm telling you, some people that see this stuff, they will carry this. They probably they'll be on a light wonder what part of heaven is black people gonna get? Because it's in them. It's like why are you so obsessed? What if you that who's committing what crime? Who cares? Crime is crime. Evil is evil. And whether a black person we seen unalive another black people, a white person unalive other people, don't you see that this is something bigger than this? Or I'm the only one. I'm one on the few human beings that can figure this out. It don't matter if you're in the black community, you're gonna see crime. You're gonna be people being the victims of crime. You're going to the white community, same thing. It don't matter who outlast what is gonna outlast what. What population gonna outlast? Who gonna allow who? Who's trying to discredit who? Because at the end of the day, who cares? You see the evil around you. So when are some of you, the Stephen Crowder, is gonna understand that when you're gonna grow up in your mind and get something spiritual? Stop obsessing with color and my people, my Europe. It don't matter. It don't matter. And if black people have something, it don't matter. If it's Asia or Hicks, it don't matter. We all gonna leave this planet. Don't matter if you become a victim of crime or a victim of unnatural, or if it's man-made, or if it's something in our internal body. When they gonna grow up? And stop obsessing stop trying to figure out why are you so obsessed with the other race when you should be worried about what's in your backyard. Worry about the problems that's in the black community. Is focused on black people right now. It's like the other communities. Some white people who keep making these arguments, you need to figure out what is the ones you spend your time debating when you should figure out what is the problem. Why is there young white males doing this stuff? in suburban schools. Why are you not talking about that? Or the Lord both right, because maybe it's an economic situation. Why are you obsessed with other races of people? And if you think that's going to solve it, and you think that if you move it to getting away from a certain demographic of people is going to do it, that think that there ain't no evil among us because our skin color, you a damn fool. You a damn fool. Because the evil don't care. Anyway. But yeah, this is low vibrational. It really is. It's low vibrational stuff. It's nonsense that the average person, whether they're black, white, they would just say, "What is this guy?" And some white people know I'm telling the truth. There are white people that probably, who my subscribers live in white, they ain't worried about stuff like this. But to have to make a, I said, but it's like, damn, what is this obsession with the stuff? What is obsession? And it's the truth. I'm telling you, if God would take all the races and let you have everything, you will still find a way to. One of you will find a way to start some crap and try to turn that whatever paradise, wherever. God take the black, the brown, and other people, because that's what some of you do. Not all of you, but some would have the sense not to go, well, we understand why. But we don't want to be around these, and some white people, I don't want to be around these people either. Because they see that it's something deep in you, Steven Crowder, and Nick Fuentes and others. They see it. Anyway. Alright then, I'm sorry, I didn't get too lectury, but it's so ridiculous. That's why I made this video, to show you how ridiculous people are. Yes. Sorry to be long-winded. Alright again, guys, I hope you like and subscribe. Till next time, be blessed and take care and learn one love. Let's love each other, get to know each other. Take care. Till next time.